Smoke filled the air. Metal groaned under heavy footsteps. The sky, what was left of it, burned orange from fires that had been burning for hours. Captain Rian Voss crawled on his hands and knees through broken glass and twisted metal. Blood ran down his temple, mixing with ash on his face. His armor was cracked. His rifle was gone. All he had was a half-charged sidearm and a voice in his ear that hadn't spoken in 20 minutes. He stopped behind a fallen support beam. Breathed hard. Listened. Silence. Then click. Click click. Not human. Not machine. Something else. Rian's heart pounded. He knew that sound. The Zenthari scouts. They moved like shadows, smooth and quiet, their black armor swallowing light. And where scouts went, the swarm followed. He looked back at what was left of Outpost Theta, the main hub of Epsilon 9, humanity's farthest listening station, floating near Jupiter's orbit. Once it held 50 soldiers, scientists, and engineers. Now only 3 were left. Maybe 2. Rian hadn't seen Reyes or Chen since the main gate fell. A loud boom echoed from the east wing. Then another. The walls shook. Dust rained from the ceiling. They were inside. Rian pulled out his comms unit. Static. He tapped it twice hard. Reyes? Chen? Anyone? Nothing. Then suddenly a weak voice crackled through. Rian, is that you? It was Reyes. Barely a whisper. I'm here, Rian said, keeping his voice low. Where are you? Lower lab, sealed the door. But they're cutting through. I don't think I can hold them. Hold on. I'm coming. No, Reyes said, voice shaking. Don't. The command just sent a final order. Scorched protocol. They're wiping all data. And they're not sending help. Rian froze. What? They think we're already dead. They've cut us off. A cold feeling spread through Rian's chest. Earth Command had abandoned them. 50 lives. Gone. Just like that. Outside, the clicking grew louder. Closer. Rian gripped his pistol. He wasn't going to die hiding in rubble. If this was the end, he'd meet it standing. He stood up slowly back against the wall. Peered around the corner. There they were. Dozens of them. Tall, thin, moving in perfect sync. Their faces hidden behind smooth black masks with glowing red slits for eyes. No mouths. No sound. Just death walking in silence. And behind them, hundreds more. Thousands. An army stretching into the smoke. Epsilon 9 had no chance. Rian raised his pistol. Took aim at the nearest one. Then, something strange happened. The sky above flickered. Not lightning. Not an explosion. A pulse. Like a heartbeat made of light. All the Zenthari stopped at once. Every single one turned their heads upward. Rian looked up too. High above, past the burning clouds, something huge moved in orbit. It wasn't a ship. It was older. Bigger. Covered in vines of rust and steel, like a forgotten god waking from sleep. One of the satellites. The old ones. The ones Earth launched centuries ago and never spoke of again. It glowed blue for a second. Then silence returned. The Zenthari didn't move. Rian didn't breathe. Then from deep inside the outpost, a low hum began. Faint at first. Growing louder. Coming from the sealed lab where Reyes was hiding. Project Gaia Shield. Rian had seen the name on a locked file weeks ago. No one knew what it meant. Now the hum sounded like a voice. Like the planet itself was breathing. The lead Zenthari turned its head toward Rian. Red eyes locked onto him. It raised its weapon. Rian tightened his grip on the pistol. But before the alien could fire, a blinding flash lit up the sky. Not from above. From everywhere. The ground trembled. The air screamed. And for the first time in hours, hope flickered in Rian's chest. Earth hadn't forgotten them. Was just waiting. And now it was angry. The blast from the sky didn't kill the Zenthari. But it stunned them. For 3 full seconds the alien army stood frozen. Heads tilted up, weapons lowered, as if they'd never seen anything like it before. Rian didn't waste time. He ran. He sprinted past broken walls and burning fuel tanks, heart hammering in his chest. His boots slipped on wet metal but he kept going. Toward the lower lab. Toward Reyes. When he reached the heavy steel door it was sealed tight. Red lights blinked above the frame. Locked. Containment active. Reyes. Rian shouted, slamming his fist against the door. Open up. Pause. Then a loud clunk. The door slid open just enough for Rian to squeeze through. Inside, Reyes leaned against the console, pale and shaking. Blood soaked his left sleeve. Wires and screens flickered around him. In the center of the room sat a strange device, like a sphere made of old metal and green glass, humming softly. "You made it," Reyes said, voice weak. "What is that thing?" Rian asked, nodding at the sphere. "Project Gaia Shield," Reyes said. "I found it hidden under level 9. No records. No logs. Just this, and a single command code. Activate when Earth's children are near extinction." Rian stared at it. "You turned it on?" Reyes nodded. And then, the sky answered. Outside the silence broke. Metal screeched. The Zenthri were moving again. Rian rushed to a cracked monitor. On screen, thousands of alien units regrouped. They weren't scared. They were angry. And they were heading straight for the lab. "We can't hold them," Rian said. "No," Reyes agreed. "But maybe we don't have to." He tapped a key. A map appeared, showing Earth far away in the inner system. Then a message popped up. "Earth Command, final transmission. All Epsilon 9 personnel, you are presumed lost. Data purge initiated. No rescue possible. Godspeed." Rian's stomach dropped. "They think we're already dead," he whispered. Reyes looked at him, eyes tired but sharp. "Then let's prove them wrong." He pulled up another file, classified, buried deep. It showed blueprints of ancient satellites orbiting Earth. Not weapons. Not ships. Something else. Called Guardians. Built after the Third Solar War, when humanity almost wiped itself out. The idea was simple. If humans ever faced total destruction from outside, Earth would fight back. Not with armies but with the planet itself. "But Epsilon 9 isn't Earth," Rian said. "No," Reyes said. "But Gaia doesn't care about borders. It cares about human life. And right now we're the last humans it can see." The walls shook. Alarms blared. "They're breaking through," Rian said. Reyes stood up, wincing from pain. "Then we give Gaia something to protect." He typed fast. Uploaded their location. Their biometrics. Their final stand. "If Gaia sees us fighting, maybe it'll keep fighting too." Just then the main door groaned. Metal bent. A black arm punched through. Rian raised his pistol. Reyes grabbed a fire axe from the wall. They stood back to back. No backup. No escape. No orders. Just two men, one broken outpost, and a whisper from Earth saying, "You're on your own." But as the first Zenthri burst in, red eyes blazing, the hum from the Gaia sphere grew louder. Not a machine. A heartbeat. And somewhere, far above, another satellite turned its face toward Epsilon 9. Waiting. Watching. Ready. The first Zenthri lunged. Rian fired. The shot hit its chest, but the alien didn't fall. It staggered, black fluid oozing from the wound, then kept coming. Reyes swung the axe. It struck the creature's shoulder with a sickening crunch. The Zenthri hissed, a sound like steam escaping metal, and fell back. More poured through the broken door. Silent. Relentless. Rian and Reyes fought like cornered animals. Every move was survival. Every breath bought them seconds. Then, without warning, the lights in the lab flickered, and died. Darkness swallowed the room. Only the soft green glow of the Gaia sphere remained, pulsing like a slow, steady breath. Outside, the world went quiet again. Too quiet. Rian pressed against the wall, pistol raised. "What's happening?" Reyes didn't answer. He stared at a small screen that still worked. A live feed from an external camera on the roof. On it, the sky was changing. Not clouds. Not stars. Something falling down. Fast. Bright. Burning. "Look," Reyes whispered. Rian stepped closer. On the screen, dozens of objects streaked through the upper atmosphere, like meteors but moving in formation. They weren't crashing. They were aiming. One slammed into the ground half a kilometer away. The explosion lit up the entire moon base. Orange fire rolled across the surface, swallowing Zenthri squads whole. The shockwave rattled the lab walls. Dust rained from the ceiling. "What was that?" Rian asked, stunned. Reyes' eyes were wide. Not a bomb. Not a missile. He pointed to a symbol flashing on the screen, etched onto the side of the falling object before impact. A circle with roots and lightning. That's one of the old Guardians. From Project Gaia. Another impact. Closer this time. Then another. The sky wasn't just raining fire, it was hunting. Every strike landed where Zenthri clustered. No humans were hit. Not one. "It knows where we are," Rian said, realization dawning. "It's protecting us." Outside, chaos erupted. The alien army broke formation. Some ran. Some fired blindly at the sky. But their weapons did nothing. The Guardians fell like judgment from above, silent, ancient, unstoppable. Back in the lab, the Gaia sphere glowed brighter. A low voice, calm, deep, almost human, spoke from hidden speakers. Threat level critical. Defense protocol active. Stand firm, children of Earth. Rian and Reyes exchanged a look. No one had heard that voice before. Not in any file. Not in any history. It wasn't human. But it was on their side. Suddenly the main console beeped. A new signal came through, not from Earth Command but from orbit. A map appeared, showing the paths of dozens more Guardians, all waking up across the solar system. Some near Mars. Some near Saturn. One even near Pluto. They'd been sleeping for centuries. And now they were awake. But as the fires burned outside and the Zenthari retreated into the shadows, Rian felt no joy. Only fear. Because if Earth needed weapons this powerful, how bad was the real threat? And why did humanity forget them in the first place? Before he could speak, Reyes grabbed his arm. We can't stay here. If Gaia's fighting for us, we have to get this data to Earth. Warn them. Rian nodded. But how? All ships are destroyed. Reyes limped to a wall panel and pulled it open. Behind it sat a small, dusty emergency craft. Barely big enough for two. Not all. As they moved toward it, the Gaia sphere dimmed slightly. Then one final message scrolled across the screen. You are not alone. The sky remembers. Outside, the last Guardian struck the central Zenthari command tower. The explosion turned night into day. And in that light, Rian Voss made a promise, to himself, to Reyes, to Earth. We're coming home. But as the tiny ship lifted off minutes later, silent and shaky, neither man saw the dark shape drifting far beyond Jupiter's rings. Watching. Waiting. Not Zenthari. Something older. Something worse. The escape pod shuddered as it broke free of Epsilon 9's gravity. Below, the moon base burned, swallowed by fire and falling steel. Above, the sky still pulsed with strange energy, like the stars themselves were watching. Rian gripped the controls with shaking hands. Reyes lay on the floor behind him, wrapped in a thermal blanket, breathing slow but steady. He'd lost a lot of blood, but he was alive. For now. Where to? Rian muttered, more to himself than anyone else. Earth was weeks away, even at top speed. And they had no fuel, no weapons, and no comms that worked beyond short range. Then, a soft chime sounded from the pod's console. A screen flickered on. Not static. Not noise. A face. Not human. Not alien. It looked like a woman made of light, gentle eyes, calm expression, hair like flowing rivers of silver mist. She spoke, voice warm but distant, like wind through trees. You have awakened the Guardian. Now you must understand it. Rian jerked back. Who are you? I am Gaia Core. Not a machine. Not a program. I am the memory of Earth, the sum of every forest, ocean, storm, and heartbeat that ever called your world home. Reyes stirred. It's alive? I sleep when humanity is safe. I rise when you are in danger. The Guardians you saw? They are my hands. My voice. My wrath. Rian stared. This wasn't just a weapon system. It was conscious. Why didn't Earth tell us about you? He asked. Because they forgot. Generations passed. Wars ended. Peace made you soft. You buried my temples under cities. You called my warnings myths. But when extinction came, you called out without words. And I heard. The pod screen shifted. Showed footage from Epsilon 9. Rian crawling through smoke, Reyes activating the sphere, humans standing their ground against impossible odds. You did not run. You did not beg. You fought. That is why I woke. Suddenly, alarms blared. Red lights flashed. A new signal appeared on the radar. Fast, silent, closing in from behind. Rian's blood ran cold. Zenthari? But Gaia's voice turned sharp. Urgent. Worse. The screen zoomed out. Beyond Jupiter's orbit, a massive black shape drifted, smooth, featureless, shaped like a teardrop. No engines. No lights. Just darkness moving through space. The Zenthari were only scouts. Slaves. This is their master. The Devourer. It consumes worlds that grow too loud. Too proud. Too alive. Reyes sat up pale. It's coming for Earth. Yes, Gaia said. And it arrives in 12 hours. 12 hours. Not days. Hours. Earth had no idea. No defense. No warning. Rian's mind raced. Can your Guardian stop it? Alone? No. The Devourer has faced planetary defenses before. It eats them like dust. But, if humanity stands with me, not as masters but as partners, we might have a chance. How? Return to Earth. Speak to your leaders. Unite your people. Light every city. Sound every horn. Let the world roar together. Fear makes you weak. Unity makes you strong. And strength wakes the planet. The pod's engines sputtered. Fuel was low. Rian looked at Reyes. Reyes nodded. They had one shot. As the tiny craft turned toward the inner solar system, Gaia's image faded, but her voice remained, soft in their helmets. Do not fear the dark. Be the light that burns it away. Behind them, the black shape began to move faster. Closer. Hungry. And ahead, Earth slept, unaware that its oldest protector had returned, and that its final hour was already ticking down. The pod's engines coughed one last time and died. Silence filled the cabin. No hum. No warning lights. Just the cold, endless black of space and Earth still days away. Rian checked the fuel gauge. Empty. We're drifting, Reyes said, voice weak but clear. He sat up, wincing, and looked out the small window. No way to call for help. No way to speed up. Rian rubbed his eyes. They'd been flying for 10 hours straight. Exhaustion pulled at his bones. But sleep wasn't an option. Not with the Devourer closing in. He tapped the comms panel again. Static. Then, nothing. Earth still hadn't answered their distress signal. They think we're ghosts, Rian muttered. Just then the pod's radar pinged. A single blip. Far ahead. Then another. And another. Dozens. Hundreds. Rian leaned forward. What is that? The shapes emerged from the dark like shadows given form, old, rusted, covered in scars of ancient battles. Warships. Dozens of them. Some missing wings. Others patched with metal plates from different eras. One even had vines growing along its hull, real plants somehow alive in vacuum. None matched any known Earth fleet. Reyes gasped. Those are the Ghost Fleet. Rian frowned. I've never heard of it. You wouldn't have, Reyes said, eyes wide with awe. It's a myth. From the First Solar War. They say when Earth was losing, a secret armada vanished into deep space. No one ever found them. Command called it a rumor. But this wasn't a rumor. The ships formed a perfect half-circle around the tiny pod. Engines glowed, not with fire but with soft green light, like sunlight through leaves. Then a voice crackled over the comms, calm, old, steady. Captain Voss. We've been waiting for you. Rian stared. Who is this? Admiral Kale. Last commander of the Ghost Fleet. We were put to sleep after the war, but Gaia woke us. Said humanity needed its forgotten sons once more. The lead ship opened its bay doors. A docking tunnel extended toward the pod. They want us to board, Reyes whispered. Rian didn't hesitate. He fired the pod's thrusters one last time and guided it into the ship. Inside, the air smelled of oil, ozone, and something earthy, like soil after rain. The walls were lined with old photos. Soldiers, families, Earth cities long gone. Admiral Kale stood at the center of the bridge. Tall, gray-haired. Wore a uniform older than Rian's grandfather. His eyes held centuries of silence. You brought the spark, Kale said. Now we bring the storm. He turned to a massive screen showing the solar system. A red dot moved fast straight toward Earth. The Devourer. It reaches Earth orbit in 6 hours, Kale said. We can't stop it alone. But if we reach Earth before it does, and if the people rise with us. He looked at Rian. Then maybe Earth won't just survive. Maybe it will roar. Suddenly, every ship in the Ghost Fleet powered up. Rust fell away. Lights blazed. Old cannons hummed back to life. This wasn't just a rescue. It was a homecoming. As the fleet turned toward Earth, engines burning green flame, Rian finally sent one message, broadcast on every open channel loud and clear. This is Captain Rian Voss of Epsilon 9. The enemy is real. The sky is awake. And humanity is not done fighting. On Earth, millions heard it. In cities, towns, space stations, people stopped. Looked up. And for the first time in generations they believed. Behind them, the Devourer kept coming. But ahead, a forgotten fleet flew like thunder. And Earth began to wake up. Copy, Ask, Explain, Translate, ENUS. Part 6. 7:32 p.m. Part 6. Humanity's Final Broadcast. The message reached Earth like a lightning strike. One moment, the world was busy, cars moving, screens flashing, people scrolling, arguing, sleeping. The next, every screen went black. Then Rian's face appeared. Bruised. Tired. But standing tall. This is Captain Rian Voss of Epsilon 9. The enemy is real. The sky is awake. And humanity is not done fighting. Silence fell over cities. over farms, over space docks and underground labs. No one knew if it was real. But something in his voice, the raw truth, the fear, the hope, made them believe. Within minutes, chaos turned to action. In New Tokyo, factory lines roared back to life, building drones from old car parts. In Nairobi, engineers linked solar grids to power defense towers. In Rio, kids wired old satellites to send warning signals across the globe. Earth didn't wait for orders. Moved. Back aboard the Ghost Fleet, Rian watched live feeds from every continent. His hands shook, not from fear but from awe. "They're listening," he whispered. Admiral Kale stood beside him, arms crossed. "They always do when extinction knocks." Gaia's voice spoke softly through the ship's speakers. "Fear divides. Danger unites. Now they remember who they are." On the main screen, Earth's surface began to glow, not with city lights but with something new. Thousands of signal fires lit on mountains. Giant mirrors on rooftops reflected sunlight into coded pulses. Even old radio stations broadcast one word over and over: stand. But time was running out. The Devourer entered the asteroid belt. 4 hours to Earth. Reyes, now wrapped in med bandages but walking again, rushed onto the bridge. "We just got word from Luna Base. They've reactivated the old orbital cannons. They'll fire on your command." Rian nodded. "Tell them to hold fire until we're in position." Then a new alert flashed. A message not from Earth. Not from Gaia. From the Zenthari. The screen showed a broken alien soldier, kneeling in ruins, speaking through a translator. Its voice trembled. "We were slaves. Forced to scout worlds for the Devourer. We never wanted war. We only wanted to survive. But you made the sky fight for you. You woke the Guardian. Now, the Devourer comes not just to eat your world, but to silence it forever." The alien bowed its head. "Warn your people. It does not destroy. It erases." The transmission cut. A heavy silence filled the bridge. Rian turned to Kale. "What does that mean?" Kale's face darkened. "It means if we lose, no one will ever remember Earth existed. Not even the stars." Rian stepped to the comms, took a deep breath, and sent one final broadcast, this time not just to Earth but to every ship, every station, every soul in human space. "This is not a war for soldiers. It's for teachers, for farmers, for artists, for children who haven't been born yet. If you can hold a tool, send a signal, or light a fire, you are part of this fight. Stand together. Fight together. And if we fall, let the universe know we did not go quietly." Across the planet, people answered. Mothers kissed their kids and joined defense lines. Old veterans pulled out rusted rifles. Hackers flooded enemy channels with noise. Musicians played songs of courage over public speakers. Earth wasn't just preparing to fight. It was preparing to mean something. As the Ghost Fleet entered Earth's orbit, the sky turned gold, not from sunset, but from thousands of small ships launching from every nation, every colony, every hidden base. Not an army. A family. Ready to defend its home. But then, Gaia's voice returned, calm but urgent. "The Devourer has changed course. It's not coming alone." The screen zoomed out. Behind the black teardrop shape, hundreds of smaller shadows followed. Not Zenthari. Not machines. Living weapons. Made of darkness and hunger. And at the center of it all, the Devourer pulsed once, like a heart. Waiting. Hungry. Almost home. The message reached Earth like a lightning strike. One moment, the world was busy, cars moving, screens flashing, people scrolling, arguing, sleeping. The next, every screen went black. Then Rian's face appeared. Bruised. Tired. But standing tall. "This is Captain Rian Voss of Epsilon 9. The enemy is real. The sky is awake. And humanity is not done fighting." Silence fell over cities. Over farms. Over space docks and underground labs. No one knew if it was real. But something in his voice, the raw truth, the fear, the hope, made them believe. Within minutes, chaos turned to action. In New Tokyo, factory lines roared back to life, building drones from old car parts. In Nairobi, engineers linked solar grids to power defense towers. In Rio, kids wired old satellites to send warning signals across the globe. Earth didn't wait for orders. Moved. Back aboard the Ghost Fleet, Rian watched live feeds from every continent. His hands shook, not from fear but from awe. "They're listening," he whispered. Admiral Kale stood beside him, arms crossed. "They always do when extinction knocks." Gaia's voice spoke softly through the ship's speakers. "Fear divides. Danger unites. Now they remember who they are." On the main screen, Earth's surface began to glow, not with city lights but with something new. Thousands of signal fires lit on mountains. Giant mirrors on rooftops reflected sunlight into coded pulses. Even old radio stations broadcast one word over and over: stand. But time was running out. The Devourer entered the asteroid belt. 4 hours to Earth. Reyes, now wrapped in med bandages but walking again, rushed onto the bridge. We just got word from Luna Base. They've reactivated the old orbital cannons. They'll fire on your command. Rian nodded. Tell them to hold fire until we're in position. Then a new alert flashed. A message not from Earth. Not from Gaia. From the Zenthari. The screen showed a broken alien soldier, kneeling in ruins, speaking through a translator. Its voice trembled. We were slaves. Forced to scout worlds for the Devourer. We never wanted war. We only wanted to survive. But you made the sky fight for you. You woke the Guardian. Now, the Devourer comes not just to eat your world, but to silence it forever. The alien bowed its head. Warn your people. It does not destroy. It erases. The transmission cut. A heavy silence filled the bridge. Rian turned to Kale. What does that mean? Kale's face darkened. It means if we lose, no one will ever remember Earth existed. Not even the stars. Rian stepped to the comms, took a deep breath, and sent one final broadcast, this time not just to Earth but to every ship, every station, every soul in human space. This is not a war for soldiers. It's for teachers, for farmers, for artists, for children who haven't been born yet. If you can hold a tool, send a signal, or light a fire, you are part of this fight. Stand together. Fight together. And if we fall, let the universe know we did not go quietly. Across the planet, people answered. Mothers kissed their kids and joined defense lines. Old veterans pulled out rusted rifles. Hackers flooded enemy channels with noise. Musicians played songs of courage over public speakers. Earth wasn't just preparing to fight. It was preparing to mean something. As the Ghost Fleet entered Earth's orbit, the sky turned gold, not from sunset, but from thousands of small ships launching from every nation, every colony, every hidden base. Not an army. A family. Ready to defend its home. But then, Gaia's voice returned, calm but urgent. The Devourer has changed course. It's not coming alone. The screen zoomed out. Behind the black teardrop shape, hundreds of smaller shadows followed. Not Zenthari. Not machines. Living weapons. Made of darkness and hunger. And at the center of it all, the Devourer pulsed once, like a heart. Waiting. Hungry. Almost home. The sky turned black at noon. Not from clouds. Not from night. From the Devourer. It hung in orbit like a hole in the universe, silent, smooth, endless. Behind it, its swarm of living shadows spread like ink in water, swallowing sunlight, killing signals, draining hope. Earth's fleet, human ships, ghost fleet vessels, old cargo haulers turned into bombers, formed a wall around the planet. But everyone knew, bullets wouldn't stop this. Rian stood on the bridge of the lead ghost ship, eyes locked on the screen. Reyes beside him. Admiral Kale behind them. Millions watching from below. We can't win with guns, Rian said quietly. No, Kale agreed. But we were never meant to. Then Gaia spoke. Not through speakers. Through everything. Her voice rolled across oceans, echoed in mountains, whispered in every ear at once. Children of Earth, it is time. And Earth answered. First the volcanoes. Mount Etna. Krakatoa. Yellowstone. All erupted, not with chaos but with purpose. Rivers of molten rock shot into the sky like fiery spears, guided by unseen hands, striking the shadow swarm with blinding force. Then the oceans. Tsunamis rose but not to drown. They curled into spirals of water and lightning, wrapping around enemy shapes, pulling them down into crushing depths. Forests grew in minutes. Trees shot up from cities, their branches hardening into steel-like thorns that pierced alien hulls. Deserts cracked open, swallowing invaders whole. Earth wasn't just fighting. It was alive. And angry. The Devourer pulsed faster. It fired beams of pure silence, waves that erased sound, light, even memory. One hit a human battleship. The ship didn't explode. It simply vanished, as if it never existed. Panic rippled through the fleet. But Rian didn't flinch. He opened a channel to all forces. Don't fight the darkness, he said. Be the light. And humanity understood. Every city turned on its lights. Every ship fired flares. Every person on the ground raised a torch, a phone, a mirror, anything that could shine. A wave of light surged upward. Not weapons. Not hate. Presence. I am here. We are here. Earth is here. The devourer recoiled. For the first time, it hesitated. Because it fed on fear, silence, extinction. But Earth gave it none of those. Instead it gave it song. From every continent, people began to sing. An old folk tune, passed down for generations, now echoing through space. Simple words. Strong heart. We plant our feet where storms have blown. We build our homes from shattered stone. And when the dark comes crawling near, we light the fire. We stand. We're here. Gaia's power surged. The planet glowed, not red with rage but gold with unity. Mountains shifted. Oceans roared. The magnetic field twisted into a shield of living energy. The devourer tried to flee. But roots of pure earth shot from the planet's core, wrapping around it like ancient chains. Lightning struck it from every direction. The sky itself seemed to bite down. With a final, silent scream, it shattered. Not exploded. Unmade. Its pieces fell like black rain, then turned to dust before touching the ground. Silence returned. But this time it was peaceful. On the bridge, Reyes let out a breath he'd been holding for days. Kale removed his cap and bowed his head. Rian looked down at Earth, whole, breathing, glowing softly in the starlight. Gaia's voice came one last time, gentle now. You did not need me to win. You only needed each other. Then she faded, back into the wind, the soil, the waves. Sleeping again. But not gone. Never gone. Back on Earth, people hugged strangers. Cried. Laughed. Lit candles not for mourning, but for celebration. News channels played the same message on loop. Today, Earth didn't just survive. It remembered its soul. Weeks later, new signals began appearing on deep space scanners. Not threats. Messages. From distant worlds. From species who had heard Earth's song. Who had seen the sky burn gold. They didn't come to conquer. They came to ask, how did you wake your world? And humanity's answer was simple. We chose to stand together. Far above, in quiet orbit, the ghost fleet drifted, no longer ghosts but guardians. And somewhere in the dark between stars, the universe took note. Earth was no longer just a planet. It was a warning. And a promise.